Hi, I'm Jason from StrataGames. Today we're playing some more Pauper. We are doing Jund Wildfire, my old reliable. I've been losing quite a few leagues, trying out various cards from Final Fantasy and just other things in general, and I could definitely use a couple wins. So I figured I'd go to the deck that for me is easiest to get trophies with, let alone just even good records, 3-2s and 4-1s. So we're going to play Jund Wildfire. You've probably seen this deck before, but we play some Refurbished Familiars, Chrysalises, and Nyxborn Hydras as our threats. We have removal in the form of Cast Down, Crocland Shaman plus Toxin Analysis, and one of Makeshift Munitions. We have a ramp package with Cleansing Wildfire and Bridges, as well as that acts as kind of draw package with our Fanatical Offerings, Eviscerator's Insights, Ichor Wellspring, and Lembas. Graveyard interaction with Niall's Spellbomb. We have a couple Blood Fountains to recur our creatures, as well as a Pulse of Marasa to gain a little bit of life doing so. We have a whole bunch of landscapes, a couple Vault of Whispers, some bridges, and a bunch of basics. And in our sideboard, we have Duress, Breath Weapon, Red Elemental Blast, Gorilla Shaman, Weather the Storm, and Troublemaker Oof. So let's take it into a league and see how we do. Hand looks pretty reasonable. 2 lands, Wildfires, and some other value cards. So we're going to keep this one on the draw. Looks like we're against Delver, or Terror. They don't flip the Delver, which is nice for us. They're going to Ponder, which will probably set it up for next turn, though. Swing for 1 and pass. Bit unfortunate if they have a Spell Pierce for this Wildfire, but I think we're going to go for it either way, because it's pretty good if they don't, and they don't seem to. We're going to pull out a Swamp and pass back. They did get to set this up with a Mental Note, so they're going to cast right away, hitting a Sleep of the Dead. Not bad. No land drop, though, and we get a Vault of Whispers, so that's decent. We can Cleansing Wildfire and Blood Fountain Refurb, which is pretty good. Start with the Fountain in case they've found a Spell Pierce. Hit them with the Refurb as a blocker. They discard a Thought Scour, and then we will go for the other Wildfire. They did find the Spell Pierce, okay. I have enough lands that I'd prefer for it to have been used on that than on the Blood Fountain, so that's why I did it in that order. Mental Note, they do have enough spells in grave now for 1-mana terrors. They deem Inferior. We're going to put that second from the top. They get in for an extra attack, but I get to just replay it with one of these card draw spells. Make them discard another card. Since I know what's on top, we will just do that. Play the Refurb. They discard another Thought Scour, and we'll pass. Sleep of the Dead from the graveyard. Not the end of the world. We do have a Lembas, which absorbs a hit from the Aberration. Sack the Landscape. Guess we'll get a Forest in case we draw our Hydra. Toxin isn't bad. Let's just start with the Lembas. Eviscerator's Insight isn't bad either. Let's play a Bridge and pass. They swing for 3, and they have a Terror. Let's Insight the Wellspring. Getting a Krark could be decent. They have the Dispel. Chrysalis is not a bad pickup either. Of course, they can sleep it, but they can't sleep it and the Familiar, and the Spawn can block the Terror. So we're going to play that. And with the card draw we have, with the Insight, the Wellspring, the Blood Fountain, I think we're just going to play this landscape. They draw a Brainstorm. They play an Island. Weird one to take off the top. They tap down the Chrysalis. We're going to block with the Refurb here. And just Toxin Analysis then, or the trade, and we're going to crack our Clue. Another Refurb is a new card, plus it blocks the Aberration. I think we're going to win this one at this point, and they agree. We get Duresses and Red Blasts. Take out one of the Krarks, but I don't mind the other. Makeshift Munitions. Don't really need the Pulse or the Lembuses as much. Or even one of the Hydras, I don't think. We'll try that. Alright, got a mulligan this one. And we're on the draw. We have 2 playable cards. But this is just not a very good hand. So we're going to go to this. It's a little better, although we have to get rid of, I think, both these Chrysalises, because we can't actually play them right now. Start with a Ponder. Play a Bridge and pass. They're going to pass. Spellbomb's not bad. I guess we'll Duress to draw out a counterspell and then get down a Spellbomb, which can ideally buy us a couple of turns. They Brainstorm and hit an Island. Landscape's not bad. They don't do anything. If they just played an Island and played a 4-drop Terror there, since I have the cast down, it's not that big of a deal. Although I can't. If it's an actual Terror, I can't cast it down, but looks like they're just waiting. I get a Cleansing Wildfire. I don't have anything else to do with it, so I'm just going to give it a try. Probably gets counterspelled, and it does. So I could just crack this in their draw step. I don't want them to get one down. If I didn't have any removal, I would do that so that they couldn't get down any serpents. But seeing as I have the cast down, I think it's okay if they want to use their turn doing this. Now I'll crack, and hopefully I can just find a land so I can play the Chrysalis when we get another Chrysalis. And we get a land, but it's tapped, so we can't cast down or Chrysalis right now. They have a Delver. Hit in for 5. Well, we're gonna play the Chrysalis. And that resolves. That's pretty good for us. Delver flips on a Dispel. We got a Sleep of the Dead. Alright, and we get a Swamp. So we can play another one of these guys. They Mental Note. Hit a Brainstorm. They're just going to pass it to us. I like the sound of that. Let's start with a Wildfire. Blue Blast that. So we'll just pass. Passing it back to us. We get another Wildfire, which I guess we'll give a try. That one works. Get a Wellspring, which they annul. Serpent. We just get a Swamp. We're in a decent holding spot, seeing as that's what's been happening, but we know they have at least one counterspell. What do we need? Some more card draw, I think. Just to overwhelm them would be nice. They Thought Scour, and then pass. We're going to keep playing lands, I guess, in case we get a Hydra. They tap out for a Lorien Revealed. Okay. And I guess this allows us to kill the Terror. I mean, this is a 5/6. I guess we just kill the Serpent. And a, well, cast down's good. I was going to say a Nyxborn Hydra kind of just wins it for us, but we can kill the Terror, and then this Aberration's not going to be fast enough to do much to us. I should have just used Spawn for that mana. It doesn't really matter. Swing with these two. They don't block. I might as well gain some life. Crack a Clue with the Spawn, and crack this one too. Hit in for 11, and pass. They have another Lorien. That does not seem very good for them. I guess if they play a Terror, they can like double block a big Chrysalis. I can get in for 5. But a Red Blast deals with that. I could do it beforehand, but then they're just chumping. It's basically the same. So I'll blow up the Aberration, put them to 4, and pass. I know they were waiting a long time to get out of that board stall, and so when they got 5 mana, they wanted to slam the Lorien. But they knew I had a couple cards in hand that I'd been holding for a long time. I don't think that was very wise to tap out like that, because we obviously had a lot we can do. We didn't even have the best cards ever. If we had a Hydra, we could have won even quicker. But them tapping out 2 turns in a row, definitely devastating for them. All right, hand is not terrible, so we'll keep it. About all you need. Against, it looks like White Weenie. Should be decent for us. We'll see. Informant. You can get the turn 3 Chrysalis, which is going to be pretty good for blocking. We do have a Prismatic Strands, but we have a Spell Bomb for it, which is decent. They swing for 4, and another Veteran. Pass. Bajuka Bog's pretty good draw too, so we don't even have to crack our Spell Bomb on the first. Prismatic Strands. They Grange it up. Swing with the Informant. We'll block with the Spawn. And they got the Battle Screech. I guess having the Spell Bomb down would have been nice, because we could have taken out the Battle Screech flashback. But they got it now. Wildfire. Let's play a Blood Fountain. A Refurb. Take that last card. Just Plains. I think we will Cleansing Wildfire, or Bridge, or our other Forest. Jukabog away the Strands, and pass. Swing with the Birds. We're going to block 2 of them. We're doing a lot better than they are in terms of value, so we just got to survive, and we'll be in the clear. Chrysalis is a great way to do that. I should have left up a green here, because I could have had Cycling for a Landscape, so that was a mistake. But we will just play out the Spell Bomb in case they have another Battle Screech. And we'll pass. Informant. They pitch a Prismatic Strands, which we can eat with the Spell Bomb, although we really don't care about at the moment with our Chrysalises being colorless. Grange up a bird. And they're just going to pass to us. Gonna discard a Vault of Whispers. Draw. Toxin Analysis. Let's just cycle this landscape. We're getting a little flooded, but we are still in the lead, so it's not the end of the world. So we'll pass. They got a Sky Fisher. Not the most value. They can pick up an Informant for an extra loot, or they can pick up a Grange for an extra counter. That's about it. They go for the Grange. Buff the other bird. And they swing with these guys. Not really sure what they're trying to accomplish. They can kill a couple spawn, but they're losing real creatures for it. So I can just eat the bird tokens and block the informants. Or I could even block the informants with the chrysalises and eat bigger guys, but then I don't get the flyers. I also think we might as well just Toxin to gain some life here. Crack our clue. So we actually go up to 18. They pass. We made the right choice keeping the ground creatures around because our Krark can just wipe all of these 4 away. Play a Familiar, which draws us a card. Play a Wellspring. We will have to crack the Spell Bomb for the Prismatic Strands first. We'll play another Familiar. This is a pretty good string of cards to draw. Another Spell Bomb. Well, I guess we might as well play our Swamp and take out the Prismatic that's there. We have a Hydra for next turn. They do cast the Strands, I assume for red. No, they go black. I don't know what black sources I'm going to be having in this deck. We're going to cast our Krark, and I guess the best time to do this would be in their upkeep, technically. Although I think, yeah, we're just swinging with the chrysalises. Crack the spawn, because it's going to die to our own Krark anyway. Hit for 11. In their upkeep, I'm going to Krark for 3. Makeshift is pretty good too. We'll lose a Familiar and a Vault. And then, since we have this Spell Bomb, we can also get rid of those Lunarch Veterans. So everything is covered. And they got a Journey to Nowhere. Not bad, honestly. But I think we'll be okay. Let's just play the Hydra on this guy. +6 and attack for 13. And they concede. Breath weapons are good. To be honest, Duress is not terrible here. I know it's mostly a creature deck, but Guardian's Pledge is a spell, Prismatic Strands is, Thraben Charm, Journey to Nowhere are all spells that are relevant. I don't think we need cast downs, and honestly even Makeshift doesn't feel like it's quite good enough. Everything else I kind of like though, so maybe like a Duress. This hand is very slow, but it has playables. They mulligan to 6, I guess we'll give it a try. We have interaction for their graveyard, some card draw. They start with a Grange, so not a lot of lands in hand. Start with the landscape so we can get our black source. Cycle and Eagles of the North. And they got an Inspector. Sack for a Swamp. We're going to play a Lembas to try to find those lands. Wildfire is not what we need. Bridge is good though. Next turn we can play Bridge, Spellbomb, and Familiar. Kind of like that. That way we can interrupt a Battle Screech, Flashback, assuming they have a Veteran out. We get a Familiar to block, and we get to develop our bridge, of course. Swing for 1. Just crack their clue and pass. Really good for us. We get a Chrysalis, which isn't bad. Play Refurb. They discard another Eagles, which probably means they've drawn a 4th land, I would assume. Or maybe they just don't need the 4th land, I don't know. Another Inspector. There's the Plains. They revoke existence our bridge. That's kind of annoying. I guess that makes me kind of want to conserve our life total. Another Refurb isn't bad, but it's not going to draw us to a land this turn, so I could play Wellspring, which gives us a better chance next turn when we Eviscerators Insight it, or I might just Lembas right now. Sack the Lembas to the Insight, that is. If we don't hit, it's a little worse. I guess we're just going to go with the Wellspring. We're not under too much pressure. We do draw the Vault, which is honestly a really good one, because we also get to play the Familiar, so that was very nice. Discard a Thraben Charm, which is pretty good for us. They crack a clue and revoke existence our Vault. Again, annoying. They don't attack this time. We get another Familiar. Okay, this time again we're going with the Insight on the Wellspring. Drawing 3 will hopefully get us to some lands, and we find a bridge. And I guess they've just got 1 damage, so I'll hit them for 2. Hope we can keep a bridge this time. They have a Skyfisher. Pick up the Grange for a counter on the Skyfisher. Dust to Dust, maybe? No, not a 3rd Revoke Existence. We're still doing fine. We'll take 1. Another Spell Bomb. I think I'll just take their last card. It's a Thraben Charm. And we'll play another Spell Bomb since we have the mana. And we'll pass. We do need to draw some lands, but they have no cards in hand, so I'm not super worried at the moment. Another Skyfisher's decent. I guess they pick up the Grange, put it on the Skyfisher, so they have a 4/5 and I can't double block, which is what I wanted to do. Not terrible, although I just get to Toxin Analysis one of our refurbs next turn. The block. We'll take 4. And we find our bridge. So we'll pass to them. They found their 4th Revoke Existence. Good for them. We're still doing fine. Swing with the big Skyfisher and we'll block. Give Death Touch lifelink. We draw a bridge, which we'll play. They find a Bugler. It's pretty decent against the breath weapon we have. Inspector, so they're gonna play. Swing with the Skyfisher, let's crack our clue. Pulse of Marasa isn't bad. We're not gonna block though. I might go for a block next turn with a breath weapon, unless we just draw a landscape, in which case we're getting down a Chrysalis. I think we can just attack with our Familiar too. They crack a clue. They don't swing. We get another bridge, and now we've overcome the tempo lost from losing 4 lands. I think we're gonna be okay. They have an Inspector. Crack a clue. Play a Blood Fountain. You don't have enough black mana. If I had more black, I would crack it right away with the spawn. Bring back 2 refurbs and eat their whole hand. But alas, not enough black for that. There's the Battle Screech. We have a breath weapon though, so I'm not super worried about it. They flash back right away. Play a Plains. We want to get black with our landscape. And Eviscerator's Insight, our refurb. This is kind of bad if they have all Thraben Charms. Well, all Thraben. If they have a Thraben Charm, they can get 3 of our refurbs, but I actually think I want to get this going first. And we might as well. We have the mana, sack this Lembas. Nyxborn Hydra. I think we just breath weapon. We get everything but the Bugler and the Skyfisher, and then we just have them on like a 2-turn clock. And that seems pretty good to me. And we'll pass. Leaving up Pulse of Marasa. They have a Skyfisher. Pick up the Bugler. They could have attacked first, so that was a waste of at least 2 damage. Well, probably exactly 2 damage. They have an Inspector. Swing with the Skyfisher. We'll pick up one of our refurbs. Gain 6. Although I guess I can just Nyxborn Hydra onto this for lethal. Because that'll be 10 trample, and they can only block 8, and then we have a 6/7. We have a lot of ramp here, which is pretty nice. Elves, we're going to need to find a Krark Clan Shaman stat. Timberwatch right away. Cleansing Wildfire. Guess we grab Forest. Priest of Titania. Windhorn. Pump the Elves and attack for 5. I mean, a Krark would just wipe these suckers out right now. That'd be kind of cool. No such luck. Cleansing Wildfire, the bridge. Wellspring. I think, even though it's mana inefficient, we go for the Familiar because it eats one of their 2 cards, which could be relevant, could be pretty important. Eating a Wind Away, for example. Also, it's a blocker, so if they only attack with 1 creature, I don't take any damage. Lead the Stampede. And they get 5 creatures. Worry in. I mean, if they just go for Nyxborn Hydra right now, I'm pretty sure I die. Because 7 plus 6 plus 6. But instead, they go for a mini Hydra on the Priest. I guess Priest is the only creature they had available. That's fair. Well, if I draw Krark and ideally a Toxin, I still could win this. Bog is irrelevant. So, Wellspring, cast down on this. Doesn't matter because then they have, well, cast down. If they attack with a bunch, cast down's irrelevant, which they would be dumb not to do. So we'll crack the Wellspring here. Going for a Krark. Makeshift Munitions. Not quite enough. I guess if they don't play right, I can still win this. That seems unlikely. If they just count on this Priest doing all the damage, I could just cast it down. They attack with a whole bunch of guys. And they pump this one. That's what we get for only having 3 Krarks in our deck. 2 breath weapons come in. Hydra and a Pulse come out, I guess. Keep the spell bombs because they have Masked Vandals and they could interrupt that, I suppose. This has got some value, but nothing else. This is the type of hand that I would love to keep, but it's more or less what happened with the last hand and it did not pan out. This one's at least got a little bit better card draw and the early refurb, but again, I just prefer a board wipe. We have 5 of them in the deck after all. Elves, cast down. I could just cast this down, but then if they have just the Masked Vandal, it's kind of rough. Blood Fountain, Elves, and a Deglammer. Yep, we do draw a Mountain, which is kind of nice. Okay, we'll play a Wellspring and a Blood Fountain. A Winding Way, getting 3 creatures, including a Timberwatch Elf. So we're going to cast this one down for sure. So I think, oh, I guess we need double black for that. Yeah, so I guess we're just kind of fanatical and cast down probably. Hard cast Generous Ent. Interesting. We get a Toxin Analysis. Let's just play a Refurb. They discard the Finthorn Elves. I think I'm just blocking and using Toxin, which means we won't have it for Krark Clan Shaman, but it's probably fine. Depends on what they play. Priest. Yeah, I think we're going to go for it. If they have a Declamor in response, it's a little annoying, but otherwise we get a decent trade. And for mana efficiency, we're going to just cycle this landscape rather than play the Offering or Crack the Clue. Cast down's not bad. Spellbomb is fine. Start with the Fanatical Offering on a map. Another Spellbomb. I can kill the Priest if I'm worried about a big Hydra. I guess with the Quirion Ranger around, it's probably scary enough I should kill the Priest. Let's play a Spellbomb and just pass. Another Priest. Swing for 2. Gotta crack the Spellbomb since we have another one. Get a Refurb. Let's play a Wellspring. Get a Chrysalis. That's a decent blocker. Yeah, I think we're just playing that because it uses our mana efficiently. You still have to be a little worried about the Priest Hydra. Play the Quirion now that they can use it right away. And they are going to go for 11 counters on this Elves. Going to crack our Clue, see what we're working with. Another Bridge. Well, we're not blocking here. Ideally, we can find a Krark. Still what we're looking for. Discard with the Blood. I guess Krark would still need Death Touch with this, so when we get our Breath Weapon, far too late. We're going to just cycle our Spellbomb. There's the Krark, but we used the Toxin because we were silly. Can block this. We need 8 damage on it. That's not going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess it could happen, but then we still just have a Nyxborn Hydra that we can't deal with. Play a Familiar. Discard an Ent. We're going to map onto the Chrysalis. We get a Swamp. Possible we should have brought in like Oof for the Hydra. Guess I'll play this Shaman, but it doesn't really matter. I think we're dead. I guess if we draw a Toxin right off of this Wellspring. Oh, and it looks like they did have another. Looks like they did have another Hydra. I mean, that's pretty unfortunate. We drew half of our deck, and it took us basically that long to find either Breath Weapon or Krark Clan Shaman, both of which were just too late. Maybe I should have kept that Toxin from way earlier, but that was like 4 or 5 turns that the Hydra or that the Generous Ent would have been attacking us, so I don't really know that would have worked. Oh look, this is the hand we needed against Elves. Wow, this one's pretty reasonable, so we'll keep. Play a Bridge and pass. Looks like Dimir, or maybe even Familiars or something. Got a Wellspring. They crack for a white source. Godfair is faithful. Familiars indeed. Well, Krark Toxin can be very potent against Familiars. We do need to get some black mana here. Pretty awkward that we're not going to be able to do anything with this turn. I don't really want to just run out the Krark and like signal to them that we're going to use it. I'd rather find a turn after they've deployed a Familiar and a Seagate Oracle, maybe an Archaeomancer to just wipe their board. There's the Seagate Oracle. I'm going to pull out a couple of our swamps here, so we actually have some black mana to mess around with. Chrysalis is not bad, though. Do I want to just go for that? Do I want to get my value of the Fanatical Offering right now? I guess we'll do... It is a little tough. I guess we'll do the Chrysalis because it fits into our curve nicely, and it allows us to start having an attacker. Another Oracle. Of course, having a Chrysalis is kind of bad for us planning to use the Krark, but it's not the end of the world. So we're just going to start by drawing a few here. 2 more Chrysalises. I guess we just do the beats, actually. Play this, then I might even just map onto this guy for as much damage as possible. Well, we drew a land, but that's fine. Swing for 5. Might leave the last spawn for the next turn, since we have another Chrysalis coming, but there's the Familiar. Bad thing here is if I do have to pull this cord, then we have already deployed some Chrysalises, which are going to die. Although if they snap them back to our hand, yep, it might not be the end of the world. Then they preordain. Meeting of Minds. Another Chancery. Could definitely keep going off if they have another snap here. They evoke a Mole Drifter, don't leave up the white, so they can't ephemerate, but they could snap their own Drifter, which they do. Preordain again, and evoke a Mole Drifter this time with the white up. And they have the ephemerate, but they draw to 10, so they're going to have to discard a couple. Or 3. 3 lands. So they're tapped out. I think we definitely go for the Krark, Toxin, wipe their board. But they're going to be left with the Mole Drifter. I'd love to have a way to kill that. Currently we don't, but I guess we'll try by sacrificing our Krark to the Insight. I guess I could just sacrifice the Chrysalis as well. So we Toxin, we sacrifice this Insight away the Krark. Oh, but we're left with no black mana. So even if we have a removal spell, we can't really use it. Yeah, can't do much about that. Well, they're going to get to Flicker the Mole Drifter. Bojuka Bog's not bad. They have a lot of spells and cards that are pretty relevant in the grave. Although the Ephemerate's just about to come off Rebound, so maybe it would have been better to wait one turn. Ephemerate the Drifter. We do have Pulse, Krark, and another Toxin if we need it. Which, ideally, we won't need it this turn. Unless they had to play like 2 Familiars again. Or a Mystic. Archaeomancer, sure. And it's pretty annoying, because if they just have like a counter spell, counter a thing, and then they can ephemerate and start looping it with the Archaeomancer. They play a Godfarer's Faithful and a Preordain, and they just tap out, which is interesting. We have another Krark, which it feels premature to use right now, but the Archaeomancer loops are pretty powerful. I think we gotta look for something. Some removal. Eviscerator with the Limbus. We have a Wellspring. Like, if we have a Cast Down, I'll just use that on the Archaeomancer. But since we don't, I think it's just too early to use the Toxin Analysis. I just don't really know what else to do. I guess we just play a Limbus, get rid of a bridge, play a bridge, and pass. Seagate Oracle. They swing for 3. Alright, let's lead on a Chrysalis. That's fine. I feel like we need some Wildfires to blow up their lands. I think that's kind of what we need, to be honest. Let's play a Blood Fountain, see what they do against that. That's fine. Alright, we're going to leave up the rest of our mana, I think. We go for an Ephemerate on the Archaeomancer. We don't have a response to. Flicker Ephemerate. Cycle a Lorien. And they're going to snap the Chrysalis, which I think we're just going to Eviscerator's Insight in response, so that they can't untap. Although they didn't even have both their Chanceries tapped, so kind of weird. We'll see if they just want to like counter that. They do. Ephemerate the Archaeomancer. Get back the snap, or the negate. Yeah, the snap. Use it on the Seagate Oracle. Swing for 2. Preordain. They leave up 2 mana. I guess we Krark as kind of bait. Because I really need to do something about this. But I don't know if I could just get back the Krark and use it on just the Archaeomancer, honestly. I guess that's not terrible. I keep the Toxin Analysis. Sure. Get back the Krark. Play it again. Sack. Sack. Pretty good to get the Spell Bomb. So yeah, sack the Limbus. Take out the Archaeomancer. Play a Spell Bomb. Hold it up. And pass. Because we would like this Ephemerate to be in the graveyard when we crack it. They draw 2. Mortuary Mire, I was expecting that. We're gonna crack in response. Now they have a Murmuring Mystic. And a Preordain. And they pass, we'll crack our Landscape. For our last mountain, but that's fine, because I don't mind using our Cleansing Wildfires on their guys if we get them, and we would like them. Also gonna crack this blood. There's a Wildfire. There's an Offering. So I think we're gonna Chrysalis's bait, potentially. Not that it's something I think they'll really care that much about. Then we'll Wildfire a Chancery, which that they're gonna prohibit. And I'll Fanatical Offering and Eldrazi Spawn, see if we get another Wildfire or anything. We get a Blood Fountain, and we'll pass. We have a Meeting of Minds on the end step. Sunscape Familiar, Mole Drifter, hard cast. We know we've exiled 3 snaps, which is pretty good. I don't know if they play all 4, probably. There's another Mystic. Well now, if we can get our Krark back with a Blood Fountain with a Toxin Analysis, but they don't have a Dispel or anything, then we can Toxin everything down. which I think we have to try. So let's go for 2 Krarks, in case they counter one of them. Let's play one and Toxin Analysis it. They have a Meeting of Minds in response, draw for a counterspell, but also they just want to make some more birds, which is understandable. And make a mana here. We'll sack a map. They do have a lot of flyers, though, which is going to be problematic. We're going to grab a clue. I think I'm just going to cast this Hydra for 2, so it blocks a Muldrifter. And then, I mean, our goal to survive is Blood Fountain back some Chrysalises, but we'll see if that is the main thing that's killing us or not. Ghostly Flicker, a Mire, and an Island. So it only costs 2 mana, and they get back a Mystic on top. Sunscape Familiar. Oh, they did that in their upkeep, so they drew the Mystic, which they can play now, along with a Floodplain and an Oracle. Swing with the team. We'll block a Muldrifter. Go to 25. Get a Refurb. Okay, so I could play 2 Chrysalises, and then I could also play from the graveyard with this Blood Fountain, and then I could also play a Krark Clan Shaman and wipe these guys, but I would have to lose some board, some of my lands. I think it might be fine. Let's start with the Familiar, though. Let's card a Lorien, that's pretty relevant. Get back 2 Chrysalises, play a Landscape, play a Krark. Don't have the Prohibit. The Nyxborn's going to die, because we're going to go up to 5. Sacrifice a bunch of these guys. 5 of those. Wipe away the Mystic. Play a Chrysalis. Crack some spawn. Play another Chrysalis. I mean, they only have 2 cards left, so maybe we have a shot here. They have a Muldrifter. They've got to have at least another Archaeomancer. Yeah, right there. No Ephemerate, but they have the Ghostly Flicker, which is what they get. They don't have mana for it quite yet. But even if I can kill the Archaeomancer, they can flicker the Mire. They do have mana for it now. Ugh. And they use it right away. Pick up the Flicker. So we need to draw into like a Cast Down and a Nile Spellbomb would be great. Put the Mystic back on top. They don't attack. We do get a Wildfire, which can shuffle. It's not terrible. We also have this. We have Eviscerator's Insight from the grave, which we will use on a spawn, see if we can get some removal, and I guess we've already used 2 spell bombs, haven't we? No, just 1. Just 1. Play a Wellspring. I guess actually I might need to Cleansing Wildfire the Mire, so that they can't keep getting creatures back. I think that's probably better. So I think we just attack here. Like, maybe there's a world where they mill out. I guess they have a combo that lets them prevent themselves from milling out, which is with the Mire, but I guess if we blow up the Mire, maybe they can't stop themselves from milling out. Probably can't, so maybe that's what our game plan should be, but I attacked anyway. They also failed to find a basic land. Maybe they don't have any, or maybe they know that milling out is a real possibility. Have a Lorien revealed, and they found the Mystic anyway. Swing with the team. Yeah, we probably made a mistake attacking that turn. Could be costly. I'm not sure we're going to win this one anyway, but that didn't probably help. Let's sack the Wellspring. They're offering. Refurb is decent. Spellbomb is good. Makeshift is good. So let's start with a Refurb. Let's card a Faithful. Let's play a Makeshift Munitions, which can pick off the Archaeomancer, and also a Spellbomb to make the Archaeomancer useless. Alright, well, yeah, like I said, probably should not have attacked because we could have absorbed 4 damage. I guess more because we had the Familiar that we threw away. But with a Makeshift and a Spellbomb now, I think we're in a decent spot to mill them out. We've also used, as we discussed earlier, 3 of at least, or at most 4 snaps. So they don't have a lot of ways to get past these Chrysalises. Don't care about a Godfarer's Faithful. Just going to pass on the end step. I think that's fine. We will Lembas. Shouldn't have tapped green first in case we find... I think we have 1 Chrysalis left. Wildfire is decent, though. It blows up their lands, potentially makes them... either thins their deck or just blows up 2 mana, which is pretty good. Cast down's not bad. I think the main way we could lose this is somehow they get enough birds to go around us. I guess we try to cast down their Mystic in their upkeep. I guess we know they have an Ephemerate, so this is probably bad. Or at least I was pretty sure they have an Ephemerate. Or a Ghostly Flicker, maybe. Another one. Yeah, Ghostly Flicker. Well, we can't do anything about the Mystic. Their Chaomancer is fine too. We'll just crack the Spell Bomb, I guess. Not that I really wanted to have to crack it right away, but it's fine. Exile their graveyard. Yeah, there's really no reason to be aggressive there with the cast down, I don't think. So that was my mistake. But with 3 cards in hand and 5 cards in library, we're in a decent spot. We just don't have a ton of things to throw with the makeshift munitions, so again, they could go around us. They did find the last snap. That is annoying. Well, I'm not going to sack the Chrysalis because it can be good coming back down. They have another Muldrifter, but that draws them more, so that's fine. Landscape. They're swinging with the crew. We're going to block here and here. I'm going to kill a couple birds. They ephemerate the Archaeomancer. Ah, because we tapped low. I knew they probably had the Ephemerate. That is annoying. So they can get back the snap. See if they want to use it right now. They do on the Archaeomancer. Fine. They have Archaeomancer in hand and the 1 card in exile. Ephemerate. We're going to sack this Lembas too. Pick off a bird as well. Eat a couple Muldrifters. Second main, they have another Archaeomancer, or rather, we know they have that one. They return the snap, and they snap the Archaeomancer, which I guess is just a loop. This gives them 2 back. Now, I mean, they're losing mana. They're losing mana, but they are gaining... What are they gaining? They're gaining birds. That's the goal, but they can't use it again right now, so we can ping it off. Oh, and we get a Krark, which is pretty decent. If we can hit for 5, that's going to be pretty tough. So let's just... start with a Lembas. Don't need a Vault. Bridge, I guess, is about the same, but that's fine. Play a Chrysalis. Ping off the Archaeomancer while they're tapped out, or mostly tapped out, and we'll pass. Ephemerate flickers the Faithful. They still have the snap, which we knew about, I suppose. Attack with everything. I can block the Mystic, but I guess I don't. I need to just worry about damage right now. So pick off a bird with this Lembas, although the Lembas would gain us more life in that, so maybe I shouldn't have done that, but we'll pick off this bird with this Vault of Whispers. We'll take, what is this, 5? Our turn. We're going to play a Chrysalis, play a Bridge, and play a Wellspring. Should give us enough things to ping everything down. They have a negate, okay, annoying. We still have... enough. Let me play this Krark as well. Block here, block here. We will ping off a bird. This spawn. Ping off a bird with this bridge. Ping off another bird with this bridge. We should eat the Mystic here, so they can't get any more. We're going to take 3, and we should be just fine. They have 1 card, and no additional turns. So we'll eat 2 birds, take a damage, and we'll just pass to them. Since they're just trying to run our clock down. And we get game 1, an outrageously long game 1. We do get Duresses and Red Blasts, which should help a little bit. Krarks are good. Makeshift was decent there. I don't know if we really need Pulse. I mean, Hydra's good to actually close the game. We don't really need the Lembuses. Cast downs are good. Wildfire's great. I guess as good as they can be. Blood Fountain, they don't really kill or even counter a lot of our creatures. Some of them, but I think as good as the Krarks have or can be, I think actually we need to go down 1 of each, that and the Toxin. And some Duresses and Red Blasts should hopefully help us push through. And we got to play at a brisk pace, since that was game 1. Almost assuredly, unless we get a relatively fast win, we're going to go to time here. Can't keep a no-lander, unfortunately. This one is reasonable. Actually, I think we'll put back the makeshift. It's not good until much later. They start with a landscape, as do we. We're cracking ours for red. And I could just duress them and hold up a Red Blast, but I think we're actually gonna... hope we draw a Wildfire. We don't. I was just gonna say, we're gonna play a Blood Fountain so that if we draw one of our sack effects, we can use it next turn. If they play anything blue here, I'm probably countering it, unless it's like a Preordain. Cycle Elorian, Glacial Floodplain. Past us, we get a Vault of Whispers. Okay, so I will duress them. Take a Lorien. Just know they have a negate. And we'll use this now to get around the negate. We have a Spellbomb and a Wildfire. Okay. They're going to evoke a Muldrifter and see if they can get an Ephemerate. They did not, which is very good for us. We get to Wildfire their Chancery. Or our own Bridge. Actually, I think we might need to do that to get our green source. As much as I'd like to blow up their land. We also... Oh, actually, we get a Spellbomb or a Duress. Let's just go Spellbomb for now. I could Duress, but I might just take a negate. Whereas if I Spellbomb here, they at least can't Archaeomancer. They do just hardcast a Muldrifter, that's fine. I can get down. Now we can Crystal it, or we can Cleansing Wildfire them. I think that's good. Chrysalis first, and then Wildfire their Chancery, and pass to them. They have a Dust to Dust, taking out 2 of our lands. A little annoying, for sure. I guess I'm going to Duress them. They have a negate, but I can just Red Blast it. Lucky us. They don't have anything else to take. Pretty annoying. We'll play a Wellspring and pass. I did think about the fact that it was possible they wouldn't have anything else, in which case we should have saved it for like a Muldrifter. With 4 cards in hand in their control deck, I kind of assumed they would have something, though. Oh, and they are Muldriftering and then Meeting of Minds, so now we're very behind in cards. However... we do have another Chrysalis, so I guess we can do some attacks. Let's just play 1 and then play a Wellspring. Draw a card. Attack for 5. We're going to save the last spawn for Hydras next turn, I guess. If they don't have snaps or counterspells for the Hydras, maybe we can get there over the next couple turns. But they do have just a million mana up, so we will see. I guess maybe we just go for a Fanatical then on a Wellspring. They do negate that. We draw 1 card, though. It's a Wildfire, which can't hit any of our stuff. I guess we just save for theirs. We'll attack. They'll block with the Muldrifter. I assume they have an Ephemerate. They do. Amazing. They will Ephemerate a Muldrifter. Play another Familiar. Swing for 2. We will attack. They'll block again. This time with the Ghostly Flicker, it looks like. Yep. Draw a million. Guess we'll Cleansing Wildfire one of their cards just to cycle it, basically. They have a Blue Blast, that's fine. They have a Murmuring Mystic. Attack for 4. Go to discard. We have an Offering. Use that on a Wellspring. Get a Red Blast. They try to prohibit. I guess we'll try to blow up the Mystic in response here. See if they have another counterspell for that, or a Flicker spell. They have a Blue Blast. Attack with the Chrysalises. They have a Snap. A Meeting of Minds on the end step. Swing with the team. We'll play a Chrysalis. We're gonna lose this one, so I guess it comes back. It's gonna come down to. I guess it's gonna come down to the last game. We each have 5 minutes. 1 forest is not gonna cut it. This is a 1-lander. Can we please just get a reasonable hand? Guess this one's fine. Not really amazing either. Oh, I can't get rid of that. I guess we have to get rid of the cast down. We Bojuka Bog first, which doesn't do any good. I guess I should have gotten rid of the Bojuka Bog because I can get it back later. I mean, this hand just does not look very good. Blood Fountain and a Bridge. Play a Mire. I will Duress. Destroy Evil. Couple negates and a Blue Blast. I guess we take the Blue Blast. It's the different one here. Draw some cards and I'll pass. They evoke a Muldrifter. Get a Wellspring. I'm going to refurb them first. Play a Wellspring. Play a Twisted Landscape. And I guess I'll get down my Spellbomb while I can. I'll just make it so I can't play Chrysalis next turn if I draw one. But that's what I got. They play a Chancery. Wildfire is kind of what I was hoping for, but to be honest, it doesn't do anything because they just have a negate. So I will cast it, but I'm sure it's just going to eat one of those. They have a Murmuring Mystic. I guess we will try to cast it down right away. That worked. They cycle a Lorien, play a Drossforge Bridge, cycle this Landscape for a forest, and we'll pass. They have a Sunscape Familiar, and pass to us. We get a Chrysalis, which we're going to play. They have another Sunscape Familiar, and an Archaeomancer. They get back a Meeting of Minds. I guess we'll try to Spellbomb that away. Chancery picks up an island, not a mire. Interesting. Mixborn Hydra, but I can't use it yet. We'll swing. I think we just need to draw some cards. So we'll use that right away. Gain some life. Fanatical Offering isn't bad, although it's going to get negated, I'm sure. Indeed. Another one is not bad. And we'll just use it on a land here. And we actually get a Krark, which is pretty nice. I think we're going to use that right away 3 times. And I guess we're going to save this Blood Fountain. I'm not sure that's worth it, but we're going to wipe the board, which feels good. They are at 8, and they have a Dust to Dust, so take out our last 2 artifacts. Our Archaeomancer to get back the Dust to Dust or a negate. A Forest off the top would be lovely. They get back the Dust to Dust. Fanatical Offering does not do us any good. I will just attack for 4, put them to 4, and I guess I'll play a Hydra for 2 as a 2-turn attacker, plus we have a 2-turn lethal attacker, plus we have the Chrysalis. They have a Dust to Dust in hand, and 2 unknowns, one of which is a Mole Drifter. Plains, another Chrysalis, but we can't quite play it. Swing for a bunch. They're at 2, and I'll pass. They have a Meeting of Minds, a lot better than a Murmuring Mystic, which is what I was worried about. They have a Lorien Revealed. They're desperate. They got to have something for 1 white mana, and Ephemerate's not going to do it. And we win the game super last minute. We're each down to less than 3 minutes. Very close. We did have to lose 3 of our artifacts, and then we got Dust to Dusted, but we had lethal in just a couple turns. This hand looks reasonable here in round 5 against Burn. I'm going to play a Wellspring. It is a little awkward because we have this landscape that we aren't cracking. Ideally, we just draw like a bridge or something here. But since we got this Familiar, maybe we can just play that and then crack the landscape next turn. They are Madness Burn, so Kitchen Imp hitting for 2. But luckily, we have a blocker for next turn, and we get a Forest, which honestly makes it so I still just kind of want to play a Wellspring. But we're going to play the Familiar. They have a Snacker, it's not great, but they just have a land to pitch, that's fine. Play a Wellspring and pass. Makeshift is not great in this match. It's just too slow. They have an End the Festivities main deck, which is pretty annoying. Vampire's Kiss, and we're down to 10. Another Wildfire. Yep, so unfortunately, because we put it off, now we have to crack the landscape. We do get to cast down the Imp, so we only go to 9 here from the Epicure. Depending on what else they have, Jagged Barrens. We'll kill the Imp, and see if they have 8 more damage. Seems unlikely, but could happen. Grab the Prize of Fiery Temper, so that's going to put us to 2. Or 3, rather. Toxin Analysis, just a little too late. Can't even use this Chrysalis. So I guess we discard a Cleansing Wildfire. Maybe we get a Krark, which can gain us 2, which is pretty irrelevant. Now we have this Cleansing Wildfire. I don't think this is going to matter. We just drew really awkwardly for this kind of an opponent. And we're just going to concede. Because I cannot imagine they don't have 2 extra damage somewhere. We get Weather the Storms and Duresses. Taking out Krarks, cast downs, and a Makeshift. There's actually maybe 1 cast down over a Hydra is not terrible. We're on the play. Again, we have a landscape hand. We do have a Weather the Storm, but we can't play any of these, so this hand is just not keepable. This one's better. We're going to get rid of the Vault. Opponent mulligans to 5, so that helps a little bit. We have Weather the Storm. We have a Bajuka Bog for if they leave a Snacker in the graveyard that they don't get right away. Toxin Analysis for a big guy later. And yeah, can't really use this Offering right now, which is awkward. Swing with their Epicure. Refurb is not bad. Although it could just let them cast a Fiery Temper, but I think that's the chance we have to take. If they discard a Snacker right here, I'll bog it away. Discard a Kitchen Imp, but they don't have the black up, so that's pretty nice for us. Now I'll just play a landscape since we want to keep the bog for something later. At the very least, a Faithless Looting. I think we're going to keep this guy for the Offering, potentially even the Toxin Analysis, so we'll take 1 damage here. I have a Grab the Prize and a Kitchen Imp post-combat. Interesting. I forgot to crack our landscape, which is a bit awkward, because I don't have extra black mana now. That's fine. I'm going to just Duress them. Grab the Prize and a Faithless Looting. We take the Grab the Prize. Although I do want to hit my land drop, but that's fine. I could have taken the Faithless Looting and gotten both halves of it, but think Grab the Prize is just better value. They discard the Razor Trap Gorge to the Blood, play a Mountain, and now they Faithless Looting. I wouldn't have a big issue with double Fiery Temper since we just have the Weather the Storm up. They discard a Sneaky Snacker and a Smash to Smithereens, which seems pretty good right now. I assume they probably keep like a Grab the Prize to get back the Snacker. That's my assumption. Or maybe another Smash to Smithereens, but I don't know why they wouldn't use it and then attack with the Imp as well. Unless they're worried about the Weather the Storm, which is fair. Crack our Landscape, or I guess another Forest in case we get the Hydra. Cleansing Wildfire. Use that. Pull out a Swamp. You get a Bridge. And pass. They've got a Duress for us. Well, I guess we're just going to gain 6 here. They can take the Offering. And then it is another Smash to Smithereens that they kept. I assume. I don't think they're going to keep a Duress by itself. Maybe, if they're really worried about the Weather of the Storm. Vault of Whispers. Okay, well, now this is going poorly. I could save the Toxin, but there's no guarantee we're going to draw anything, so I guess we just use it now. Cycle it. Fanatical. Cycle that as well. Lembas isn't bad, but not really what we were wanting here. Guess we'll keep an Insight. I mean, if they don't draw another Smash, we have Lembas gains 3. They Faithless Looting back a Snacker and get an Alms of the Vein, though. That's annoying. They swing for 3. Insight the map. Weather the Storm and a Cast Down. I guess we'll just cast down the Imp. Weather the Storm right now. Next turn we can crack this Lembas and maybe Eviscerator's Insight something. Vampire's Kiss. We really just need like a Chrysalis and we'll be in a much better spot, but we can't find any of our creatures. Fiery Temper to the face. We're down to 9. There's a Refurb. 7, 8. We have enough mana to Insight. Let's play a Mountain first. Insight a Bridge. Now we get the Chrysalis. Refurb, make him discard a card. Just a Fiery Temper that they can't use. And now we'll crack the Lembas. Finally drew some good cards. We're going to trade with the Epic Cure here, I think. Get it off the board. A flashback of Faithless Looting. That's why we didn't trade with the Snacker. They do have 2 more Snackers in the bin, though. So Nile Spellbomb would be very appreciated. Crack the Lembas. Blood Fountain. Play the Chrysalis. Play a Blood Fountain. Guess we'll play another one. This means we can't actually crack one if they have a Smash to Smithereens, but this means if they have a Duress, they can't use it, which is good. Discard a Mountain with the Blood. Jagged Barrens. Alright, nothing big happening for them is really good for us. We get to... I could Eviscerator's Insight. I think we'll just crack one of these. Buy back some Refurbs. Make them discard their last card, which could be a Madness card, but whatever. It's a Swamp, that's good. Familiar, draw a card. Ideally, it's like a Weather the Storm. Just in case we draw an untapped land in the Weather, we're gonna Eviscerator's Insight. Blood, no, but we did get a Nile Spellbomb, which is also pretty dang good. We'll attack for 4, and we'll pass, holding up the Spellbomb for if they draw enough cards for the Snackers. And we'll certainly trade if they go for that. Not, they pass. We Wildfire. We Wildfire again. We play a Lembas. And we will definitely scry a Lembas to the top. We'll leave back 1 Refurb just so we don't take any excess damage that we don't need to. Hit for 6 and pass. Pass to us. I will crack our Lembas. Another Wildfire. Pull out our last basic. Refurb seems not great at the moment, but we'll just swing for 8. Cast a Lembas. Keep an Offering. We'll use that right away. On the Blood. And sure, let's use a Familiar. Even though they can just Madness something off of it, it still takes a card from their hand, so, you know, not irrelevant. Alms of the Vein. It would be really nice if we did this and we had a, you know the one, Weather the Storm, because we're just forcing them to cast it or lose it, and that would add to our Storm count. We have an Extract a Confession. We'll lose our Chrysalis, that's fine. Crack our Lembas on the end step. Pulse of Morass is pretty good too. Attack for 6. We're going to pulse back a Writhing Chrysalis. And we got there. This hand does not do enough, unfortunately. This one doesn't do about anything either. And if we get smashed to smithereens, that's pretty bad. I guess we can just hold up the Insight. No, this one doesn't do anything. We'll take our chances with 5, and this is a much better 5. I don't think all weathers is going to actually like keep us alive. I will keep one for sure, and I like it, but if all we do is gain life and we don't develop onto the board, we're gonna have a hard time actually surviving and winning. You got a kitchen imp, turn 2, pretty good. Twisted landscape. I could duress them right now, which could be good if there's like a grab the prize fiery temper or another kitchen imp, or I could cleansing wildfire. I think we want to duress, honestly. Yeah, it's not bad. Grab the prize with the snacker or kitchen imp would be pretty annoying. So I'm pretty happy with that pick. They play the gorge first. If they attacked first, then it would enter untapped. Not sure it really matters, but still. If I play a familiar, it actually gives them an imp, so I really can't do that. So unfortunately, we're just gonna have to cleansing wildfire. Pass. They swing for 3 and a lightning bolt. Well, we don't have a weather the storm. Attack the landscape. I think we just want more black, to be honest. Cleansing wildfire. So they have an extract, which they can't really use to great effect right now. Kitchen imp and a snacker. I think we just go with the chrysalis, and if we're lucky and don't die, and don't lose our chrysalis and everything, next turn we can go with 3 of these, including the weather. Like an offering, a familiar into weather the storm. Found another grab the prize. Lucky them. 1 evidence away from that extract on our chrysalis. We are just at 5 though, so not looking great for us. Another weather the storm. Okay, so I can cleansing wildfire, refurb. They might kitchen imp, but then I can weather for 12 life. I think that's the play. Hopefully it'll work right. So we need the green for this, we need black for this. So yeah, cleansing wildfire to start. Pull out another green. Jukabog doesn't do too much. So we'll familiar. They discard a mountain. Yeah, so they weren't playing into it. I do get to Bajuka Bog them, which actually I said doesn't do too much, but actually it resets their evidence count for extract a confession, which is honestly pretty relevant. I guess we're just gonna, we have 2 weathers. I think we gotta use one of them here to gain 9. We know that they can't have lethal or they would have done it on their turn. And I don't want to get into a position where we cast it on their turn, hoping they're gonna cast spells, and even if they do, they can kill us in response or whatever. Smash the smithereens on the familiar, fair enough, and then they can extract, and they don't even need the evidence, so that's pretty annoying, to be honest. They got kitchen imp and 1 other. Faithless looting into the kitchen imp. Well, they just have everything, I guess. Attack for 7. We draw a wildfire. We're gonna hit this bridge, I guess. We get a mountain, fanatical offering this land. We get a duress. I mean, we get a decent weather the storm, but that's not really gonna keep us alive, like I said, unless we get something else big. Sometimes I bring in breath weapon type effects against this deck because it'd be really good right now, but I did not do that this time, unfortunately. And we're getting 3 mana cyclers. Chrysalis. I guess Chrysalis doesn't even do enough here. Here's a familiar. Discard a Faithless Looting. We can map onto this guy. We can play a bridge and pass. We'll block an imp, go to 4. We're going to flash back a Faithless Looting. Fiery Temper down to 1. Get an Eviscerator's Insight. Use that right away. Toxin. I guess we'll use this Fanatical Offering on the only land we can. Amazing. An unfortunate end to our league. Not really how we wanted it to go. 3-2 is fine, but I think in general we're pretty good against Elves. We just couldn't really get there. Maybe we should be, since Elves is pretty popular right now, maybe we should be on the 4 Krarks, 4 Toxins. I have seen some people playing that. And I think after sideboards were pretty decent against Rakdos Madness. We just weren't able to get there this time. So in any case, this deck is still pretty sweet, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much to my patrons, including my $10 patrons, Howard Granger, La Ars, and JMW. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.